hands down, build this champion. Hey guys, Fusebox back on Raid Shadow Legends, and I had oral surgery not too long ago, so it took me a while to be able to speak right. But I'm back, and we're going to talk about Pythion, what Pythion means for you no matter where you are in the game. So I know you've seen some videos on Pythion. This dude, the first 2 days that I had him, I went ahead and placed platinum using him on both my offense and defense, but he's really a defensive champ. It's an odd thing, but what this guy can do for you. So, and how I think you should build him in ways you probably don't want to build him, because he's freaking amazing. Like, this champion is amazing. Most of us got him. Definitely reason to celebrate. So let's talk about what Pythion does and how you want to build him regardless of the gear you're using. The A1 hits twice and it heals for 5% each time, right, of his max HP. So you're going to want a lot of HP, right? No matter how you're building him, you're going to want good HP so that this heal counts. It's his A1. He's going to be using it pretty often because he only has 2 other abilities, and he won't be using his revive until it's needed. So he'll be going back and forth between this heal and a cleanse and his A1. So stack up that HP. That's going to make this actually count, right? It's a solid A1. A2 does cleanse your entire team, which is always amazing. And then it heals by 10% of their max HP. So this can't be controlled by your build, but your other heroes will heal for 10% of their max HP when they're cleansed. And then it puts up the block debuffs, which is solid anywhere you go. Lots of bosses, especially arena. So let's keep going. Then you get the full team revive. It puts a strengthen on them. Absolutely amazing. 4-turn cooldown. These things come around pretty quickly. And then the passive. This is what makes him unique, standing out from all these other heroes. You get 5% less damage for each buff on your heroes. So if you can get 5 buffs on everybody, you're going to get 25% damage mitigation. This means that you can now set up defenses when you could not have before. Now, if you've got good teams, then you already know what to do with this guy. But if you don't have a lot of the meta champions or whatever, you definitely can make some defensive teams with heroes that you don't think about very often that will be able to hold off some of the bigger teams out there. So now let's talk about how you want to build him. Again, you want HP. Your speed's going to matter more about your team. If you're trying to do a fast team, even then, Pythion does not have to be really fast. He just needs to be there with his passive, healing, and reviving when needed. So he needs to fit in with your team on speed, right? If you're trying to get the cleanse off early, then he needs to be the first or second person. And to get that cleanse off, he's going to need resistance, right? You're going to need resistance so that you're not locked up. You're able to cleanse the rest of your team so you don't have to build them with resistance, especially if you're mid-game, late game, and you don't have all the meta champions yet. So make sure you got high resistance and high HP, because the speed is not as important as the other attributes. He's got a real decent HP pool to work with, so it's great. You need no accuracy at all. Now, as far as gear, there are some gear that I would stay away from. Okay, I would not put this guy in Relentless because he's going to be cycling through all of his protection of any buffs that are on him, right? It's not a team that you want rapid firing all the time unless you have some of those meta champions to where you've got tons of buffs up all the time. If I could have a mastery, then I would either choose Lightning Cage to help protect my buffs so that I'm always protected, or I would go ahead and take just kind of the plain Jane polymorph, right? Sheep everybody. It can be really nasty. And always another good option is Temporal Chains. But honestly, this guy, I would probably give Lightning. The thing about Lightning Chain is you start out the battle. If you're on a go second team, when they put up buffs, you're going to get stacks of Lightning Chains, which means before you've done anything, you've got 1 layer of protection, 5% damage mitigation, because Lightning Chain is a buff. Then if you wear a bolster set, which I highly recommend for arena, and it will work great anywhere else. The bolster set starts you out with a shield that can't be removed, and you have Lightning Chains. Both can't be removed. That means you have 10% damage mitigation before the fight starts on this champion. And any other champion is going to have bolster shield as well as if they have something like Temporal Chains or the Bones or whatever on their set. So, and remember, also, Protection set will give you a buff and protection as well. So it's instant 5% damage mitigation, but if you're wearing Stone Skin, you probably don't need the protection for the first couple of rounds anyway. So I love the bolster set. It's going to heal him up. Was it 10%? Yeah, he gets a 10% heal every turn, which is big because he's going to have a lot of HP. So, you know, I would like this to be higher, but I didn't want to take gear off my other champions because I'm using them in tandem with Pythion. But high HP means big heals. Add some defense, right? Keep him alive. And that's it. Get your speed where you need it and good resistance. I'm using a resist aura to kind of make up for that mid-range resistance. Masteries, there's not a whole lot. You don't need any of the accuracy, right? So you either go heavy into defense or heavy into support. I want to get those heals. All these abilities here are just making his heals stronger. This is going to get him back to that cleanse, which keeps a buff up, right? He puts up block debuffs, which is also useful, let alone the protection you get from it. Because of those buffs, I'm going to go ahead and use rapid response. When they wear off, let's try to get back to putting them on. If anybody dies, he's got to revive, so Spirit Haste is huge. If they die, he's going to start getting back to his turn. And lasting gifts, I want every buff to last as long as possible. That's all you really want out of this guy. And now I did go down for resistance on Unshakable. Basically, a basic resistance deal. I took 8% less damage when I get hit by a crit because in Arena, that's where I'm using him. You're going to get crit. And then, you know, increase the amount of healing and a lot of the regular stuff, right? I do like the chance to counterattack because it's going to heal every time. So that's how I'm using him right now. Bolster set is definitely solid as can be. There are plenty of good sets. The numbers are more important, but Bolster adds protection before the fight starts. So let's jump into Arena and look at how even if you don't have meta champs, you can make a defense. And we'll probably take some losses because we're setting up a defense. We don't care about the win. You can forget your actual nukers. You can just build a defense that's going to make people stall out and give up. Let's hop in. Okay, let's jump into Platinum and let's try using heroes like not in the meta. I'm going to try to pull out heroes, just regular heroes, right? Or heroes that we've gotten for free recently. So we can go up against any of these. One thing to remember, if you don't trust your resistance, they've got an accuracy aura. It's possible you can get shut down because Ramontu can lock out your passive abilities, and we're relying on that passive ability. So watch out for that. Make sure that resistance is high enough before you go in. But let's just take a team. We're working on a defense first. We'll go offense in a minute. So there's a Candrafon. He's getting the buff of his Veil. He's going to hurt, right? This is going to hurt. And they're not going to die. But if they're trying to go up against you, can we protect ourselves infinitely against the Candrafon? So let's take out some of this. We might use this. Uko is a great example. Somebody that we all got, just like Pythion. They can do amazing work. A couple tips on Uko real quick. I see a lot of people trying to run him in Stone Skin. The reason I don't run him in Stone Skin is because at the beginning of the fight, if they have a Stone Skin buff, he has a 50% chance of stealing it and protecting it and putting it on himself anyway. If he's wearing Stone Skin, that's not going to happen. So you're not removing it as well as getting a protected buff. But anyway, that's the reason I just got him in Defiant gear. Just a solid build to protect from AoEs a little bit. So we want, like, let's see, buffs. That might be interesting. Go ahead and get an HP aura in all battles. Dracul, he's got a shield that gives you counterattacks when it's broken, heals when it's broken. He's got increased attack, increased defense. So we just want tanky units, like not so much free to play. Hey, we got Ultimate Death Knight. Like, everybody's got him. I do have him in Stone Skin, so he's starting with a protection. You can see I've got 2 polymorphs, and I've got Lightning Chain to protect buffs on him. Bringing somebody in with... Now, I think I have protection set on this guy. Let me go look at Dracul real quick. Yeah, I've got protection set on Dracul. Looks like rolling this stuff up would only benefit us, right? Maybe putting some glyphs on it too. I don't use him a lot, right? He's not a meta champion, but he's actually a really amazing dude. What do we want to roll up? Defense, HP. Let me see. He's got okay HP. We're only gonna get a couple rolls here anyway, so let's just use up my silver real quick. Oh, come on. Can we get it? Can we get it? No, we didn't get it. All right, we've got a little more defense. I'm not putting glyphs on him. I got plenty of gear to sell for silver. So that protection set actually is key on a good buffer. There's a chance, I think it's 30% chance if you have 6 pieces on to protect the buffs you place on people, and it's all about the buffs. So let's get back in here, see if we can find that team, set it back up. It was right here. Yeah. So we want to be able to survive this. Let me set it back up. Okay. All free-to-play champions, all of these were fusions or given to me, right? Not actually, these 3 are pretty meta right now. That's amazing, right? We got these champions for free. So I'm taking advantage of just random sheeps to keep them off my back. It's all about Candy trying to kill me and me trying not to let that happen. Would we want to set up anything in a certain order? Let's just go in and see how this is going to play out. We'll put it on auto after we figure out the best starting sequence. So already we've got, look, everybody's got some protection, right? We've got 20% on Uko. We did steal some buffs, which is great. We can go to cleanse their buffs, or we can give ourselves a speed buff just to protect ourselves. Let's just let it go on auto after this. So here we've got a shield, or we can increase attack and defense, more buffs. Now Candrafon just tried to kill us. Let's hit auto. Basically, eventually we have no real win condition. Eventually they will win, I imagine, unless there's enough healing on this team not to let that happen. Let's just kind of watch this go. If it can carry on for a couple of minutes, they're likely going to give up, especially around platinum reset. You're not going to fight 5-6 minute fights. So this is all free champions. Really simple stuff, right? Nothing crazy going on. I do have stone skin, high defense, decent HP on Ultimate Death Knight. I've got decent HP, really high defense in a Defiant set here. You saw my build for Pythion, and then you saw my build for Dracul, who needs to be rolled up and glyphed. He needs to be rolled up and glyphed, but we have revives on this team. We have 2 revives, Uko as well as Pythion. So, and look at the beating we're taking. Look at the beating we're taking. So we're a minute 30 in. This is early. This isn't near reset, but, we're getting into platinum. Strong Candrafon, without question. And we're not worried about killing them, right? This is your defense. We'll do offense in a minute, see how that goes. But this is game-changing for a lot of early players. When I say early players, you could have been playing for a year and a half, 2 years, and Pythion could be the reason you can put in a defense that people are going to struggle with, right? Now, don't get me wrong. They'll bring in a different offense if they need to, and they'll hit you even harder. But this definitely gives a lot of players the ability to stay alive when they didn't have the Duchess. They didn't have Nekret the Great, right? Absolutely crazy. Let's just watch this for a minute. Hopefully it survives long enough we know they would quit.
I was waking up this morning, waking up before it's getting 9. Kinda heavy on my shoulders, tracking down some moments back in time. I could've swore that I was in it, down to every minute. Don't know what I was sipping, but I felt like I was doing fine. Oh my. Turns out that I just got a little bit south, just a little bit north of the Georgia line.
We're at that stage where they're going to start. They're trying. They're doing it on manual. They're struggling to do anything. This is the point where they're going to start deciding on giving up. And I want to pay attention to lightning cage protecting buffs. We've got Uko trying to take our buffs. And anytime you see a yellow border, that's from protection set, lightning cage. And it's super important that you have as many of them protected as you can. So Lightning Cage is actually really, really strong when it comes to using Pythion. You can see I've got 2 people right here that actually have Polymorph, and they're buffing up constantly. They're debuffing constantly. You're not seeing it hit very often, but Lightning Cage, I may switch them it's always a guaranteed buff, which adds protection for not only you because of Pythion, but it also adds protection for your buffs. So it kind of making a case when Pythion's involved in using Lightning Cage. We're about to hit 5 minutes, and if they ever finally get somebody down, then we're popping right back up. By now, we've got the cooldowns on our revive, and Uko's a little random because he uses his revive whenever he wants, but Pythion's got it in his pocket, and he'll be bringing it right back up. Just enough healing on this team. I mean, and these were all free Fragment Collector champions. The gear is actually pretty easy to get. Bolster comes from the Forge Pass, so you just focus that down to get some. Protection comes every time you beat Hydra, even if you're just beating easy mode. So definitely, by now they're going to give up. They're just going to leave, right? Or they're going to go eat dinner, come back in 20 minutes, and then leave. So let's give them the win. Let's get them the win. Okay, so like those Cupidus Venus teams, right? They suck, right? They suck. So we're going to go in with a little bigger team to show it off. You could do the same thing and try to survive it. But what I love about Taras is that he breaks that attack down, making it easier and easier to survive, even though they've gotten a cred in here, and does give us a win condition. So same premise, only we're bringing damage mitigation that can actually kill heroes, and we'll just let this run. Basically, we're going to be getting counterattacks every time we attack, right? It's going to happen. Like right here, but we're taking the counterattack, breaking his attack down every time he hits. And well, actually, that turned out really nice. It's over now. Maybe we should give him the win. I'm sure we'll find another one. They're everywhere, those Cupidus Venus teams. But it's all because of Pythion. Making this easy, it's because of Pythion. Even so, here's another Venus. Here's another one. Let's do another one without the win condition. Just a lot of buffs. We'll bring Dracul back in just because it's cool. He's cool, man. He works now. He works now because of Pythion. And let's see, can we survive this? We have no win condition, but the same type of team, almost the exact same team. Now we've got cleanses, revives, lots of buffs. We're actually wasting 2 slots with bolster, but again, I've got either lightning chain or polymorph just to kind of mess up their mojo. And we should be fine. We're actually not going to attack much, so we'll get quite the setup. When he attacks, there you go. Cupidus, just what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Cupidus? So again, you may force some people to come at you a couple of times, trying to speed up their team and bring in more damage. But it can hold up against these teams if they're running them on offense. There are a lot of people early platinum that's their best team. That's all they really have for a great team. So they're using it. And when they come in to fight you, your defense is just going to hold up. So this is pretty much ridiculous right here. Let's just cut back in a minute or two.
You owe everyone a favor. Watch the population rise. And if you want them to like you more, that only cost you who you are. Keep away from the ground.
All right. They're reaching the point they're about to give up on us. And so we're going to give them the win. We're not going to win this, but we're going to keep reviving, coming back. Definitely game changing for so many people. And even if you're late game, did I not quit this? Or is this just all counterattacks going off? Oh, I hit continue. Late game, it even makes a difference on the teams you have now. If you've already got that Duchess, think of the damage mitigation you're going to be bringing. So let's real quick redeem myself. Was it this one? Let's just go back in and bring the Man Pig Lizard team. Real quick redeem myself, but Pythion. I built Pythion out the minute I got him. CVC, I went right through it without using a book. I wanted all my books. That's how good this champion is. I saved all my materials, 5-star chickens, or everything I had built up just to build him up as soon as I got him. And the next day, he was placing in platinum. Absolutely a wonderful, wonderful champion. And I got my avatar. That's the thing. You want that avatar when you place platinum. And I finally got an avatar. So there, we've redeemed ourselves by bringing in somebody who can do some damage. If you have to add damage to a team like this, just make sure it's like a good HP, a tanky unit, right? Canderfon would do good here. Pythion next to a Canderfon. If you've got him, you need to be using him. Hands down, build this champion. Until next time, enjoy the grind.